This is Boston Lanka News, bringing you news, views and entertainment from Boston and USA. I'm Vayoni Dimel. In June 2012, a renowned actor, politician and philanthropist Cyril Dharmavardhana was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He was living in Melbourne, Australia at that time. Through the highs and lows of his battle with cancer, his positive outlook in life was reflected by the way he lived. Cyril was determined to battle the disease, and he fought hard to live a normal life as possible. In his last trip to Sri Lanka before his death, he visited the main cancer hospital in Sri Lanka. There, he saw the plight of many poor cancer patients and the facilities the hospital could offer some of these patients. After his return to Australia, Cyril Dharmavardhana dreamt and spoke about making a change and to help ease the pain of undergoing cancer treatment. After his death, a foundation was born with a determination to make his dream a reality in memory of his name, Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation.
This is the ancient city of Gaul. It rose to prominence in the medieval period as a port where traders with their ships and boats would call. It also was a center of administration from colonial times. The teaching hospital at Karapitiya is a 4-storied specialized cancer treatment unit in Sri Lanka, the only one of its kind in the southern province. It serves the health needs of a large population from the southern, eastern, western, Uva and Sabaragamuwa provinces. This facility serves as many as 300 patients daily. The health service in Sri Lanka is blessed to have excellent services rendered by highly qualified medical personnel. When a person falls into meeting a predicament of a terminal illness like cancer, we can trust these specialists. Their patients are also strongly supported by the kind nursing staff while they continue to battle their way through. Thus, behind the immeasurable services provided by the Karapitiya Hospital, there is yet another story that touches the heart. It is the situation of the patients after they receive various cancer treatments. Many of them, though unwillingly, choose to stay on in the hospital without going back to their homes during their recuperation or recovery period. The reason being the matter of actually getting back home. They simply cannot afford to hire a comfortable vehicle to travel all the way back to their homes, which are situated in distant rural areas, sometimes as far away as 200 kilometers. They either have to use public transport or hire a 3-wheeler taxi, which, needless to say, may cause complications in their delicate condition, especially when they are vulnerable to infectious diseases due to a severe drop in their immunity. The situation also causes problems to the hospital when they have to accommodate too many patients whose number is increasing by the day. In this context, the free patient transport service offered by the Australian-based Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation is priceless in every sense of the word. Their state-of-the-art Mercedes-Benz ambulances take the responsibility of carrying patients to their homes with the provision of utmost care and comfort.
We join with Binara Dharmavardhana, President of the Australian-based charity Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation. Binara, many of us know Cyril Dharmavardhana as an actor, politician and a social activist. As his son, you know him more deeply, and to begin our conversation, share with us about Cyril Dharmavardhana that you knew.
He was a wonderful person. He was a common man's friend, and he always performed on stage and even in teledrama field and in a few movies that he acted, and also in the radio programs at SLBC in the late 70s and early 80s. He was everybody's friend from the highest level in the country to the bottom level. He was a wonderful friend that Sri Lanka had for many years, and for 50 years he contributed to the field of art, drama, and cinema photography. So he was quite a popular person among people and among the artists in Sri Lanka.
We know your father Cyril Dharmavardhana died relatively young after fighting with the cancer. Could you share about his life after he found out that he had cancer?
He fought his cancer extremely well. He never saw that cancer never affected him or his lifestyle. He, even with his cancer, he still did his politics. He was involved with his teledramas, as well as he went on holidays and his day-to-day work. That actually never, and not only that, whenever he traveled to Sri Lanka, even having stage 4 lung cancer, he visited the hospitals, cancer hospitals in Sri Lanka, to have a look at the status and talk to people and to find out how encourage other people. And even in Australia, in Melbourne, at Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, when he attended the cancer hospital, he used to encourage other cancer patients. So he had sense of humor, and he really helped, and also even encouraged the doctors and the nurses, the staff, because some of them sort of, when they are dealing with a stage 4, which is the final stage cancer patient, their situation is also sort of, really down. So he was a brave man. He had a lion heart. So until the last minute, he fought his cancer extremely well.
Now, the Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation was born after his death. Tell us how that happened, how the concept began and formed for what it is today.
After my father's death, as I told you, he visited some of the cancer hospitals. After my father's death, I went to the Karapitiya Cancer Hospital, which is the only cancer unit in the entire south of Sri Lanka. And I happened to meet some of the people from the Cancer Council over there. And I asked them what are the current issues that they have, what are the limitations that they have. And they mentioned to me that after treatment, the patients get stranded. They sort of, tend to stay in the hospital, or they tend to go by public transport, sometimes up to 3 to 4 very uncomfortable, rough bus routes that they have to travel, sometimes up to 200 kilometers. So a person who travels from Galle, it could be to Thanamalvila, it could be to Tissamaharama, it could be to Ratnapura district. It's far away distances, and not only the fact that a lot of people go to Hambantota district, Mathura, as well as within the Galle district. There's a huge population live there, and a lot of people tend to they get exposed to infectious diseases after cancer treatment because their immunity is at the lowest after chemo, after radiotherapy, or for that matter after surgery. So they're very vulnerable both physically and mentally. So sometimes they get exposed to infectious diseases, so they are unable to come for the next cycle of treatment in the following week. And with that particular new disease that like a flu or it can be pneumonia, they die. So with the low immunity level, they have a lot of complications, so they are unable to come. So that is a main concern for them. So they invited me, they asked me whether we could from Australia provide a transportation facility. So I came back to Australia and I discussed this with my friends in Australia. And then we came out a solution to send ambulances to Sri Lanka, the first non-emergency patient transport facility to be implemented in Sri Lanka.
On the recommendations of the doctors, the coordinating officers helped the patients to board the respective vehicles. However, it is no easy task for the foundation to bear the huge expenses in terms of fuel, payment of wages to staff, and the general maintenance connected with this magnanimous project. We are happy to let you know that the Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation had a successful review by the Ministry of Health in Sri Lanka. The ministry has invited them to implement this facility in other cancer units around the island. This is an index of the profound recognition of their dedicated service and is a giant step forward within this short period of time since its inception. The Cyril Dharmavardhana Foundation is the only organization to provide this kind of service to the community of Lankans.
So, Binara, could you explain briefly about the vision of the foundation?
Our vision is to provide free of charge transportation to every single cancer patient in Sri Lanka, doesn't matter which corner that they live. It can be in the north, east, central, western, or now that we have done successfully in the south, we want to go and implement this, and we do have an invitation from the Ministry of Health in Sri Lanka to do that, because they have recently conducted a study, a review about the work we've done in the south, and they're extremely pleased. And they told us something which we didn't even know, that we have helped them to reduce the congestion in the hospital. Because when we go to a public hospital in Sri Lanka, we do see people in the corners, on the concrete floor, sort of, on a mat or, on a sheet, tend to, because after treatment, they don't have the courage to go back home, because they know that going back home is such a rough ride for them. They tend to stay in the hospital. So no longer that is an issue in the Galle Cancer Hospital, because in our comfortable, secure and comfortable luxury ambulances or patient transport facility, they like to go home in that vehicle. It's like going in a first class air ticket, going home in comfort. So because we do have the stretcher facility as well as upright seating facility in these luxurious Mercedes-Benz ambulances which we have implemented. So that way, that helps the hospital. They don't have to, there's no cost of giving them extra meals or providing with the towel, etc. So that we have reduced. So it helps the hospital to, keep it clean, etc. So less number of patients in the hospital. So that's a huge achievement that we've made. So that way, this is really affecting really well. So our intention is to go and do the same exercise in other cancer units around the country.
Could you share more specific details, such as how many ambulances you have given to cancer hospitals, the impact your contributions are making among patients, and anything else you have done for the cancer patients?
Yeah, we have already implemented 2 ambulances. So we have given 2 Mercedes-Benz ambulances to the south, and that is sufficient enough at this stage. And we intend to send 2 more because we do have an immediate requirement to implement this in the Kandy Hospital as well as Jaffna, and we intend to send 2 ambulances to Kandy and 2 to Jaffna. But if we are to go to Maharagama, which is the center, the largest cancer hospital in Sri Lanka, we need at least 5 more. So we are working for that, and we are at the moment in Australia. We've already commenced the fundraising. It's not an easy task to raise this much of funds to sort of, introduce and purchase these ambulances, because nobody is giving these ambulances free of charge, and we have to buy them, we have to ship them, and then we have to do the registration and the insurance, etc. And then and when we have to start the facility. So we do have a fantastic staff workforce who are well trained. So we are going to train the remaining cancer unit, and when we hire new staff, train the trainer basis. So that way we can implement the best practices which we have understood, which we have implemented in the south to the other cancer units.
අපි පිළිකා ඒකකයකට සිරිල් ධර්මවර්ධන පදනමින් මේ ගිලන් රත දෙකක් පරිත්‍යාග කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ දුර බැහැර සිට පැමිණෙන රෝගීන්ට එය ලොකු සේවයක්. මේ ඒ ලොකු සහනයක් ලැබෙනවා. ගමන් අපහසුව නිසා රෝගීන් ඒකකයේ ගොඩක් රැඳී ඉන්නවා. ඒක වාට්ටුවේ රෝගීන් තදබදයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා එම නිසා මේ ගිලන් රත සේවය අපට සපයන එක ලොකු සහනයක් මේ සිරිල් ධර්මවර්ධන පදනමේ.
මගේ නම තරිඳුල අක්මාල්. යන්නේ අකුරැස්ස මාකන්දුරට. මේ ගිලන් රත සේවයට බොහොම පිං. අපි අසරණ රෝගියෙක්. පිළිග රෝහලෙන් ප්‍රතිකාර ගත්තේ මගේ සීයා.
මේ වාට්ටුවට දකුණු පළාතේ ශල්‍ය කර්ම සඳහා විශාල රෝගීන් සංඛ්‍යාවක් දිනකට ඇතුල් වෙනවා. මෙහි ශල්‍ය කර්ම සතිය දින 5ෙම සිදු කරනවා. මෙම ශල්‍ය කර්ම කරන ලද රෝගීන් වාට්ටුවෙන් බැහැරව යන අවස්ථාවලදී ප්‍රවාහන අපහසුතාවයන් වලට ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට පත් වෙනවා. මෙම රෝගීන්ගේ ප්‍රවාහන පහසුව සඳහා මෙම සිරිල් ධර්මවර්ධන පදනම මගින් ඇම්බියුලන්ස් දෙකක සේවාවක් අපට ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. සමහර රෝගීන් ශල්‍ය කර්ම කරලා ගෙදර යන අවස්ථාවන් වලදී ත්‍රිවිල් වැනි රටවල ගිහිල්ලා ගොඩාක් සංකූලතාවයන් වලට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ රෝගීන්ගේ පහසුව සඳහා මෙම පදනම මගින් ලබා දීපු මේ ගිලන් රත සේවාව අපි විශාල වශයෙන් අගය කොට සැලකනවා. ඒ වගේම රෝගීන්ගේ පහසුව සඳහාත් මේක විශාල ලෙස වැදගත් වෙනවා.
Binara, I'm sure you have visited these hospitals and visited many patients. Any experience that you had that made you realize what you are doing is important and vital in the fight against the cancer for many cancer patients in Sri Lanka?
Absolutely. Thousands of patients. We have now transported over 1,000 patients repeatedly, some of them, and the comments that they give us, they say, sir, we didn't know that such people exist in the world who would provide us with some facility like this, because in our situation, in our dire straits situation, there's nobody to help us. Sir, we haven't had a single meal from yesterday when we came to the hospital, because we had to keep our little money that we have to go back home for the bus fare. So when we hear comments like that, that encourages us. It's a lot of hard work for us, but that gives us a huge encouragement and the blessings and the merits to everybody who contributed for this wonderful cause.
Well, I'm sure there could be many who knows somebody who died from cancer. So how can somebody support the good work your foundation is doing?
Absolutely. They can support in many ways. Predominantly, the biggest thing what we need at this stage is to purchase more ambulances. We need financial assistance. They can get in touch with us personally, as well as through our Facebook, through our web page. The web page, of course, is the website, of course, does not get updated all the time, but our Facebook account, Cyril Dharmawardena Foundation, is always updated, and you can see the events we've done, etc., everything. So if anybody wants to find out any details about our financial status or anything, they can request us, they can write to us, they can write to Binara at Cyril Dharmawardena Foundation.org. That's my email address. Or if anybody wants to get in touch, they can contact the number in Australia is +61 4329 77791. So that's our foundation contact number, and all these details are available in both our website as well as our Facebook site. So the other ways are, if you know any volunteers who would like to come on board, please get in touch, please suggest us. We would like to involve people. Obviously, we will spend a bit of time with them, understand their motives and what their objectives in helping, because it has to be aligned with our objectives, because helping patients has to have a lot of patience, etc. So it has to be like that as well. So and also the most common thing that anybody can do around the world is that we are happy to, myself and our other members from Australia, because this is an Australian-based charity, we are happy to travel to any part of the world with our own expenses, because our charity, every single dollar that the people put for this foundation goes directly to the benefit of the patients to buy the ambulance or to run them. So we do this as a service as well. So we will travel anywhere in the world to set up events, to talk about this and to help them, because we do have documentaries, we have presentations, and take them through, meet their friends. We can organize events, have a bit of fun, and also understand the cause and do that. So we have been extremely successful in Australia. We are the fastest growing charity organization in Australia. We started in Melbourne. We have gone twice to Sydney. We are in the process of going to Perth. We are having a massive charity dinner dance on the 29th of August in Perth, Western Australia. And next year we are going to Brisbane in Queensland. So likewise, we intend to come to Los Angeles in California as well as London. So we do have various requests. So my request for all the viewers of Boston Lanka News is to please get in touch with us through Facebook and get in touch with us. Share your views, share your opinions, and see what you can do to go this journey and implement this vision of providing free of charge transportation to every single cancer patients while they take their treatment.